Hello everyone and welcome to Daily Game Review number 18. Today we have Nefhilion 7Q versus Jnimer, if I pronounce that correctly, 6Q. And let's see how this game goes. Remember, if you would like to get your games or submit your game for a chance to get it reviewed, please see the link in the description below. Alright, so now we got a Nirense versus Nirense. Very interesting. Oh, white plays a kick. So let's see, then a pincer. I think white does not know his Josekis. Remember, guys, normally you don't kick without a pincer stone, but I have seen it in some professional games where black does it if black plays something normal here, and then you play it like so, and white extends like here, and then you get it around here, create some Aji, and then build this area up here. This I have seen, however, it is played in certain specific situations and in rare cases, so please do not try this without significant like a good amount of research and study to see what positions it's normally played in. Please study this first, and please do not try it without without understanding it first. So remember that normally it is played when you have a pincered stone here. So that way, when your opponent extends, they cannot extend very far and they are cramped like so, and this would be a common shape. Don't forget that this move does leave Aji for invasions and reductions and stuff at A. So if white is not cramped, then the A weakness is very annoying and very potent. So please do not try this without first doing some good study. I thought white might try it, but instead he actually Tanuki'd. So this is definitely very bad because now black gets to surround on this corner, and the corner has the weakness, so it's really not good for white. Also, this pincer doesn't affect this group at all, so I think this is definitely not good for white. However, black chooses to just simply pincer here. I think maybe give these two stones a little bit more support if you're going to pincer, so maybe something like here will be a little bit better. However, since the bottom left corner is an urgent move, you want to play the urgent moves first and then play the big moves. And this pincer is kind of a big move. So I think the bottom left corner is more urgent. Now, white does get the double approach over here. However, black has a very nice move here, and now you can see white doesn't have a good move. Even if white plays something like this to surround, you can see white is getting cut off, and white is in a very bad position here. So black can play the 3-3 here. If you are strong on both sides, normally the 3-3 is very nice, and since the fight here looks a little bit good for you, maybe it will work here. However, if white goes here, you can also play here. This one might also be okay, and if white goes here, you play here, and white plays here. And then there's a little bit of Aji, but should be fine, and then you can get this around here, and I think the position's good for black. This is also a possible continuation. However, white chose to go here, so white is overplaying like crazy so far. So white definitely got to work on your Josekis and your basic shape knowledge. This is not going to work out for you. Black, however, let white live in the corner. You want to cut white here for sure, and now you can see white only has 3 liberties on the side. It's going to be very difficult for white to play here, and the F17 stone is getting very bad because it's getting weaker and weaker. So black trying not to get confused here. However, white does try to go for the life in the corner, but this move isn't the way to do it because push here first, and you can see white's liberties are very bad. And this doesn't work because if white plays here, black can play here, so white can't even connect here. So you can see white must play something like this to even live. Then black plays here, and you can see it's just so bad for white. Black is getting surround, F17 is getting weak, white is living with maybe 4 points of territory. So very bad for white to play this way. White does, however, play this way, and does black see it? Black sees this move, but doesn't see the cut. Black can cut here. This is very huge and very important. If black cuts here, it's completely bad for white. So please remember this shape. If black is thick here, black can usually pull this off. I think the D16 stone is the vital stone here to be able to cut it off, so that way you can get this Atari here. Alright, so please remember that shape and that Tsuji for the cut. However, white does get to connect, and black Tanuki and white Tanukis. Black fixes, white Tanukis, and white plays here. This isn't even the fix move. White is just trying to take black's points. White is playing crazy like. So black definitely want to surround here. Remember, the surround is very important. You want to surround your opponent, get control of the center and the rest of the board. And if white goes here, you can actually do a double Hane here. And you can see the cutting points aren't that important because this is actually white's base. These two stones do look a little bit bad, so maybe you don't want to do that. So if you don't like these two stones, you can also just extend here. And this is still also fine, and the influence is still kind of good for you. So this is still fine as well. All right, so let's see. I heard this move was good, but I haven't played it in a long time. I almost never let this shape happen. So I have to recall how to play here. I think this is okay. I think this is good for you. I think this is good for you. But these two stones don't look good on this board. So perhaps on this board, I might not try it. But maybe I can actually go here and black's forced to, or white's forced to go here, and then you can do here, and then maybe there's some in-game here. Anyway, get this around. Get this around on white, and it should be good for you. You may also even consider something like this, but then white gets this. However, this shape is still good for black, and white is sealed in the corner. This usually doesn't work because there's a lot of cutting aji for later, but if you're worried about it, anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. Just surround white in the corner. Some type of surround move should be good. However, white does get this 2-space extension. Now this is actually kind of nice because now white has a lot of territory, and I don't see a way to break in immediately. You can play a move here for sure because there's a lot of Aji in there. So this is definitely a move for later. Instead, black plays the next big move. White plays here, and white pincers. White loves this. White has no idea that black can punish this very, very severely if he knows how. Let's see, does black punish it this time? He does. White gets this around, or white gets surrounded. Black makes a nice shape in this area, and you want to extend here one more, and normally white is supposed to jump, and then you can pincer. However, this player will likely go here. It's fine. Then you can even get this move later. White still owes a move on the bottom side, and you can just play normally, and the influence will help you invade this area later, so white will probably have to fix. Now you can actually get to this side, and you can see white has no potential point, or no points on the bottom side, so it's still good for you, and you have some influence in the center, so I think it's still fine for you. So you can invade here later, you can reduce this area. I think this round is still good for you. Remember that this type of sequence is not good for white. White does, however, play here, and a high approach is definitely not recommended. Now black can easily just jump, and white's shape will still be invadable, and black will get territory. Black does jump. White goes here. This is a crazy-looking move. I have no idea what this move is going for. Let's see. Black can definitely cut this off, and I think I would definitely do that now. I think black is just getting tricked left and right. White has played a crap ton of trick moves, and black is getting tricked. Even if white lives in here, I wouldn't care. Oops. Misclick, misclick, misclick. Don't misclick. Because you can see the two stones on the outside look terrible. Black has a lot of influence, and that influence is definitely attacking these stones. So you can see that white is in a terrible, terrible position in this game. So just got to attack, gain a lot of profit, and it should be very good for you. So just do this, and it should be fine. I think the reason this game got submitted is because there's so many trick moves. White plays here? Are you kidding me? White is crazy. Black still gets the cut. Black still has the corner, and black gets the cut, so it's even better for black. White goes here. This is definitely cuttable. Black does cut, and bam, you see that white died on the inside. Oh, so bad for white. Huge corner for black. Great success for black. And you can see that white is just trying to make shape on the outside now. Gave black a big corner, and now black can come back and attack the top even. Instead, black plays here. This is a really slow move. I don't really think this is a big move. Black can go on the bottom here. Black can attack white on the top here. And, oops, not that. Get the tiger's mouth. And split black here should be perfectly fine. And black has the connection under. So he should be perfectly fine. He's thick everywhere. And as long as he gets the attack here, and maybe gets this Vita point over here, it should be good for black. However, black, you're going to have to really work on punishing your opponent's overplays if you want to deal with this type of opponent. Because these types of opponents are crazy. The only reason they beat people is because they confuse their opponent. Their opponents don't know how to punish them. However, white's style, white's moves will never go far. He will never improve to a high-level player playing the way he's playing right now, because eventually he will reach a player who knows how to punish these moves. So black, keep sticking to the basics, keep playing basic shapes, don't worry about players like these. The way to deal with these types of players is to just play your best and learn to punish overplays. You do that by sticking to the basics. When your opponent's ask the questions. Are you weak anywhere? If you're weak, fix it. Is your opponent weak anywhere? If your opponent's weak, attack it, punish it, gain profit. And then you play the big move after that. And the big move is open corner, open side, and then you go to the biggest areas, and if it's yours, you develop it. If it's your opponent's, you invade or reduce it. You invade normally on the third line, and make sure, but not always. There are some exceptions, and make sure your invasion has multiple follow-ups. You reduce on the line of the influence, which you just have to learn how to visualize. Normally, you just trace a line from the one of your opponent's stones to the other, and place someone on that line. Shoulder hits are also good for reducing, but only in certain circumstances. But anyway, those are several ideas for you to think about. Stick to those basic steps, and they should take you out of most situations, especially against opponents like these. Your opponent is actually very crazy here, but since he's confusing you quite well, you're actually in a losing position, it looks like, because you have like only 2 things of territory, and white has 2.5. So white's a little bit ahead, but you still have quite a bit of territory, and you still have a perfectly good chance to win this game. You just have to calm down a little bit. Get this Atari first. It's kind of big to get this Atari and then play this move. That Atari is just a little bit worth it. White does get this and actually forces you to get the Atari, so that's quite nice. And then you just run away, which is good. Go ahead and do this because you want to attack the liberties on this group. Just get the surround, and you can see that it's still quite good for you. And just jump, and there's still an invasion here later. So it's still good for you if you just play simple, basic. Normally you can defend yourself by pushing your opponent's weaknesses, and that's a good way to defend yourself. Alright, so white does get this move, and you do want this Tiger's Mouth because you have no extension, so you have no base, so you want to keep your eyes. Keep them a little bit safe here, and once white extends, then you can think about invading over here somewhere, and that would be perfectly fine. However, invading here is not the correct move. It's just, this is normally reduction, but you can actually invade this area. So the invasion's usually pretty good. However, you will have to be careful how to attack later, and I apologize for the noise, guys. Kids in the background, I apologize. Anyway, white now defends up here, actually ignoring the bottom side. Now you can definitely get a second move on the bottom side, and it will be huge, which you do. I think you can go a little bit further and actually take advantage of the Aji in this area, so maybe something like along these lines, then play here, or even, let's see, read. Okay, maybe not this move. Let's see, what about this move? Can you do this move? This move looks interesting, so get some type of variation like this. That looks quite nice, actually. Then white maybe plays an Atari and then goes something like this, but then you get this. Yeah, definitely some questions in this area. Gonna have to read very carefully here, but if you read carefully, maybe it's possible. But I don't know. It's actually quite difficult to read out. That's really difficult to read out. Okay. If you can't read it out, that's fine. But I think an attachment here should at least be okay. This should be perfectly fine, right? Because now you can just do this. And if white cuts, just sacrifice the stone, blah, 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 and white is losing everything. So white usually plays this way, and you can just extend back. So I think actually G3 is the move I'd go with. After a little bit of reading, I think G3 is probably the move I'd go with. But you can go a little bit further because the 2-space jump with the star point is actually quite weak, and there's a lot of Aji, and usually you can do something to take advantage of that. I think G3 works just fine. However, you want to read, and it looks like you spent 10 seconds reading this move, so I think you want to spend a little bit longer than 10 seconds to decide a move. You have plenty of time on your clock. It's you have 17 minutes left on the clock, so black, you definitely want to spend time reading this move out. White, I think you have a lot to work on. You have to basically change your entire game to stick to the basics. You're not playing Joseki, you're not playing opening guidelines, you're playing random invasions, random trick moves, and you're pretty much ignoring every basic out there and just confusing your opponent. So I know I haven't really said much about what white should do, but honestly, I think like almost everything white's done has pretty much been a bad move. And that's because he's ignoring every basic strategy out there. It only works in some cases due to the fact he's confusing the crap out of his opponents. He's playing very confusing moves, his opponents don't know how to punish, and then the confusing moves end up working because white can read a little bit better than they can, because he's still a 6U, he can still read like 6U reading. So his reading is just a little bit as good as his opponents, and maybe a little bit better, but his moves are crazy, and eventually he will run into an opponent who will punish him and beat him very easily. So white, you definitely gonna have to fix those moves if you want to improve. Black, pretty much you just got to learn how to deal with these types of overplays and take advantage of weakness. This is normally not a good move. You don't want to fix cuts like this. If you want to play something, this would probably be a normal, this clamp would be a normal move, but it doesn't look like it works in this case, and there's no surround, there's no forcing moves, so I don't think there's really a move to play here. If you want to do something, just jump out. Or play the Tiger's Mouth and then jump out. Don't force your opponent to fix cuts and weakness in Aji. That's really bad style, and also it's a broken shape. Once white plays this way, which he does, you can see that this shape It's 2 black stones and white's cutting through them, so it's actually a broken shape. You really want to avoid these shapes. These shapes are usually good for your opponent and bad for you. So this is normally not a good shape to play. Try to avoid this. This is not the way to play. You're not surrounded, so you don't want to really make eye space right just yet. If you want to do something, though, you can actually threaten this a little bit more and then jump out. You want to jump out. Don't get surrounded. This isn't an efficient base. The base is actually really small because all these Hanes. This Hane is actually really annoying. Might even consider doing it now. White's alive, even if black gets something here. White's still perfectly fine. So you can see white's not really worried about the eyes there, and it's not Yosei, so it's not really worried about the points either. This is black's base, so black still has to jump, and you can see white was able to rob the base pretty much for free, and black has to jump. However, white does defend. Don't really see much point in defending here. The points are actually small because of this monkey jump over here. Black now gets another fence, but you definitely want to honey here. I don't know why you're not honeying. There's no trick. There's nothing white can do here. Definitely honey there. Instead, black plays here. This is slow. This is really, really slow. White, if I were white, I'd probably ignore this and to go play big move, which is probably here and here. This looks pretty interesting. Actually, I think white's in a losing position. White doesn't really have anything. Maybe white wants to defend now. If he can't attack this and gain profit, so maybe it's okay to defend now, because I think we're almost in an endgame. So actually, black G1 says you're in endgame now. Are you? I don't think you are. I think you have a better move. So rather than this, I think you could actually come back and try and do something here to this group. Somehow, where do you want to play? Where do you want to play? Where do you want to play? Maybe get a move here and then do a shoulder hit here, reduce the eye space, see how that works out. But white will get to live pretty easily here, but you get some influence at the center, so that's probably good. Or I can get this Atari, but honestly, this doesn't look good for white. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. So maybe just jump out. Surround white, reduce the eye space, maybe white lives, and then you can build a center influence. Remember, that cut's still been there this whole game, by the way, guys. But I assumed you guys didn't see it, so I haven't pointed it out again. But that cut's been there the whole game. You can still build an influence in the center, so there's much bigger moves than this move. This move's just an in-game move. It's not really that big. But black does get surrounded here. Very nice. This move's very nice. White now reduces here, so you definitely want to punch your opponent. I mean, think about it. You played a move that you thought was Sente, so take your profit. I think you can go somewhere like here now. It might be fine. Just reduce the eye shape. Reduce the eye shape. Somehow. Do something to reduce the eye shape here. Get your forcing moves first, then come back and do something over here. You should still get Sente out of this. Just get your profit and Sente first, and then go play the big move. So this is an interesting cut, so we'll see how this goes. White does get that. This is actually a wasted co-threat, because he's going to get this no matter what. There's no move black can play that stops that. So white's going to get this no matter what. So this is a co-threat wasted by white, so that's kind of a thinking move. Now white plays this, so definitely want to get the forcing moves on this group. Now, actually, you can cut, because you just took the stones. Sweet, so white actually hurt himself here, because now black can actually cut because he has liberties now. So that's cool, which he does, then jumps out. Rather than jumping out directly, what about a push like this, and then play something like this, and then if white plays here, threaten to cut, and then jump out like this, and you can see white is completely cut off in the center. Even if white plays something like this and cuts, who cares? Sacrifice one stone and keep white cut, and it's good for you. So definitely a chance to cut off white. However, black plays this way, and now white is able to connect. He should still get some forcing moves on top, which he does. So very nice there. You never did see the cut, but oh well. Alright, so you got some reduction on top. That's about all the profit you got. You could have done a little bit better in the center. However, you do need to get to the forcing moves on the right side. Defending this is definitely not the way to go. If you want to develop that, right? And then if your opponent tries to reduce, just attack, right? Right? That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Or just build. You want to develop your area, not seal it. Never seal the center. Never seal the center. Always develop it. But the right side's definitely bigger. Alright, so white goes here. Very small move. Who cares? Apparently black does because black responded. But if you go here and white goes here, I just give up 2 stones. And then I get a second move. Yay me. So don't respond to these small moves. They are not Sente. However, black did. So unfortunately, black lost Sente there. Don't play the Tiger's Mouth unless you need eyes. You don't need eyes here. So definitely want to connect because the Tiger's Mouth is co-threats. Co-threats. Those co-threats become very huge if a big co happens. So definitely don't want to give those co-threats if you can help it. Now black plays here, white plays the empty triangle. That I didn't really understand the empty triangle there. Anyway, now we are playing endgame. White doesn't know how to deal with the monkey jump apparently, so there's that. Black finally gets his forcing moves here. Very nice, very nice. And finally, black got his profit. Now white has some shape on the inside. It looks completely alive. So now we're in endgame. Finally, even though they were already playing in-game moves, the right side was still there. So now we are officially in in-game, so we have to be careful. The bottom middle group is weak, but otherwise I think black is okay. So just play in-game, and let's see who's ahead. White is the top and the bottom left corner. Black has the left side of the top right corner. It looks like the top, though, is quite big. So maybe white's a little bit ahead, but black definitely has a lot of territory too, so I honestly don't know who's ahead without counting. We're not going to do that during a video. So let's see how it goes. Both players playing some dame moves in the center. Not sure what's happening here. Black does give up some stuff here. Another wasted co-threat. Co-threats can be important, guys. Don't lose the co-threats for no good reason. Alright, now black is getting surrounded. Definitely want to watch your eyes, black. Definitely want to watch your eyes. That K2 is kind of looking a little scary there. Now we see white completely surrounded. Definitely want to play K2 now. Definitely want to play K2 now. This is quite huge. But now black, oh, see, this is what I mean. White is good, a little bit better at reading than black, and that is only due to the fact that this is how he wins, by attacking his opponent and overplaying like crazy, and then eventually killing something, or his opponent has no points. So you got to learn to see your weaknesses a little bit better there, black, and punish your opponent's weaknesses. So remember the steps, remember the steps, remember the steps. The steps are great guidelines, and they should help you in most situations. Now it's a Seki, so at least you live. That's cool. However, you did lose quite a few points there, and let's see the rest of the end game. And who won the game? Game info, white won by Comey by 6.5 points. So black, I think you actually lost the game at K2 by not playing K2, and that's probably where you lost the 6.5 points. So that's definitely definitely huge because it cost you the game. However, I think the biggest issue is the fact that you couldn't punish your opponent. Your opponent tricked you, and you kind of didn't really know what to do. So remember, just ask yourself the questions. If your opponent's weak, attack them. You attack by taking the base, surrounding, reducing eye space, and playing the vital point. And then you just want to take profit by attacking as well, so make sure you just gain the profit. And then defend yourself. If you're weak, defend yourself. Don't worry about wasting move to defend yourself. Defend yourself is fine. Then attack your opponent, gain that profit. Don't let your opponent get away with his overplays. And from there, just take your big moves and get to the big moves, and you should be fine. These opponents, they seem scary, but honestly, at the end of the day, they will never get strong playing like they're playing. So just take it step by step, take it as a learning experience, and study it for next time. So guys, hopefully you guys found this helpful. Thanks for submitting the game, and if you want a chance to get your game reviewed, please check the link in the description below, fill out the form, submit your game, and hopefully you will get your game reviewed in the daily game review series. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.